Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you. We're diving in today to a very hot topic, which has been very hot for me. It's about shadow work, young shadow work. You might have heard this term before. It's when we basically face our dark side for personal growth. So stick with me. We are going to unpack this transformative process. We're going to do some exercise. So grab a cup of tea, cozy blanket. Let's get started. I'm going to dive into journaling and dreaming and how to record dreams and some of the symbolisms as well, because I done a lot of uncovering of my shadows in my dreams. So I bet if you stick with this is going to be a transformative, very, very important video for you. You're going to remember this video. Okay, so first things first. Let's just break down what shadow work actually is. So, it's the practice of facing your unconscious. Often represents the shadow itself represents a part of ourself we repressed. So, let's say you repressed being very confident because someone mocked you while you were being very confident as a kid, then you might find yourself be very irritated from overconfident people outside. You see a very overconfident person, you think like, oh, that person's so full of themselves. It's because you have repressed that part of yourself, which you maybe had when you were a kid. You like far much more confident, more full of yourself. But a lot of us repress that side. Okay. Anyway, so why is shadow work so important for personal growth? Well, when it's so we avoid this part of ourselves, we are limiting our potential basically. So when we are not fully embracing who we are, even that dark part of ourselves, that's still part of us. When you're not embracing that, we're not embracing both dark and light, we can't heal the wounds that affect our thoughts, behavior, and our relationships and manifestation and everything. So when we face our shadow, we are able to understand the root of negative emotion, which then gives us the power to change our triggers and the triggers that hold us back, and push us to procrastinate and things like that. So we can start healing if we understand these parts of ourselves. So let's talk about how to start shadow work. It's been intimidating, but trust me, it's well worth it. You won't find out anything about yourself, which is really, really scary. That's how I felt at the beginning. But seriously, even the darkest part of yourself is so liberating to know. And you just realize you're just human, and you'll be surprised how you are not the only one. So, um, let me start. Step one is self-reflection. So let's start of becoming more aware. Pay attention to your triggers, especially. So again, like I said before, if someone very confident triggers you, or is so full of himself, ask yourself, what's that person reminding me of what is that person telling me about myself? So is that there's something that he's doing that you have repressed. So when you react in a way that maybe it's out of proportion from your true self, so you need to notice these emotions and reflect on them. So what's that means for you? Why were you triggered that way? And what was the underlying issue really for you? What was the thing that really irritated you? Pushed you towards the fear, pushed towards the jealousy. So really really think about why you were triggered. Okay. Next step, just grab a journal And then write down your feelings, your emotions, and the things that you're afraid to admit to yourself. Just say, I'm afraid that blah, 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 blah. Things that you wouldn't say aloud, but you can just write it down, okay? So then let it flow, let it go, just write down whatever comes to mind. There's no right and wrong, who cares? No one's going to read it, right? You can burn it afterwards. um, and then just see that what you wrote and that part of yourself as a separate part, like it was a different person. Just how would you feel compassionate for that person? We're just humans. We all make mistakes. We all have, animal brain. We all have, you know. So remember, this is a journey. Don't just judge yourself, or don't judge that you have a dark side. We all have one. The goal is not to punishing or shaming yourself. Okay, here is to understand and accept every part of yourself. So that's a massive difference. You need to feel compassion, accept, and embrace that part of yourself which is feeling shame for, which feeling that needs to be punished, and everything in between, the good, bad, everything in between. Just embrace it, forgive it, heal it, say that it's okay, that it wasn't his fault, that it was just, I don't know, made thinking that was okay, or just like trying to say you were young, or just give it like a really like third person perspective and say like, that's not that bad, you're still a good person, like a lot of us have got shame around sexual shame. Like for me as a girl growing up, if you grow up in a place which is very religious, or somewhere where people are very judgmental, and you're like a teenager and you're wearing too short skirts, or you're wearing like the wrong clothes, they might think like you're promiscuous, and they sort of like say like you're promiscuous, and that would like make you put your sexual desire and sexuality in your shadow. And a lot of girls, for me, I'm from the south of Italy, have got sexual shame, and that sexual shame shadow, which is like a shadow. When you see people that are like more sexual, you judge them, you feel triggered. They'll be like, see people like that take someone's husband, they'll be like, oh, she's such a bad person. But it's like, I'm not saying it's so good to take somebody's husband. I'm just saying like you're just particularly triggered because there is a lot of those things that you have put in the shadow that you would like not give yourself, just not to judge yourself badly, not to be judged from these people, which they are not there in your life anymore, but in turns you've pushed your sexual desire, your sexual needs aside because to please other people and not to be socially judged. And a lot of the shadow, at least for the shadow work I've done, is to do with social, to be accepted socially. So really meditate and journal on your triggers. It's the key. And embrace your shadows. See, you're just human. We all did it. We all made mistakes when we were younger. You don't have to be the same person. You can still forgive yourself and just embrace it. Just say like, give it a reason. Say that you're going to be better, but you still don't accept that part of yourself, okay? Once you begin to understand your shadow, it's time to integrate it. So, for example, if you realize the fear of failure, say failure, the fear of failure is holding you back, partner with it in a healthy way. Don't just say like, oh, fear of failure is stupid. Just be like, accept it. I have fear of failure. So what? I'm gonna feel your failure. You are my shadow. See as a different person. I give you my hand. Let's do it together. Let's push through this gently. Okay. You're going to hold your hand, hold a step of the way. We can do this. And so what if it comes up and you freeze or whatever stage or whatever? So what? Many people fail, and that's still okay, because it's better to fail but to have tried than 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 not tried at all. Most of the people that are winners is people who have failed and go up again. It's just having the guts to do so, and you can. And everyone has fears. I just need to take it by hand, recognize what the fear is, take it by hand, say we're gonna try to do this. We're do it. I believe we can together. We do an integrated partner with that. Okay. So let me share you some visual benefits of shadow work, because honestly, it's life changing. You will heal every deep wound that you have. When we face our shadow, we uncover emotional wounds that have been buried for years. This can be traumas, unresolved conflicts, limiting beliefs, everything, limiting beliefs, everything. And this create a massive inner peace. Sorry, but there's nothing more precious. Remember, it's a journey. It's not one-time things. We're doing this exercise and then like, oh, I'm healed. Everything takes. It's a journey, and it's fun. So get in the habit of doing this. What's more fun than to immerse yourself into yourself? I don't know. When you start loving yourself, that is a great thing to do. It's much fun. Okay, now I just want to dive into the dream part, because I talked at the beginning of the video about dreams. It's very, as I said, it's played a massive role for me. So dreams are a reflection of your unresolved feelings. I've been studying my dreams lately, and it's been amazing. So there's a lot of symbolisms. Sometimes it seems strange or unsettling. However, don't be afraid. It's still, nothing is scary. There is no dark per se. So, as you know, I've been talking about dreams and their symbolism, and dreams have uncovered a lot of deepest thoughts and unresolved feelings for me. And I believe there is such a juice and tea in your dreams. So I suggest that you study your dreams. It can be a little bit unsettling at first, because you think, oh no, I'm gonna find out something very dark, like repressed memory. Don't worry, you got this. You can handle anything. You'll be fine. Okay, it's good. This is good. You need to heal these parts of yourself. So, your mind in the dream will speak with a lot of metaphor and symbolism. But if you look at my other videos, you see I go through lots of symbolism. I will go through some symbolism now, as promised. But it's mostly symbols and the way you feel. So whatever is a recurring dream, a vivid image or overwhelming emotion, this shadow wants to be noticed, woohoo, in the dream, and they're like, hello, it's me. Okay, so there are certain dream symbols. They often point directly to your shadow. So let's look at some common ones that I've researched. Monster or threatening figures, threatening scenario. This might represent fears, feeling of powerlessness or resolved trauma. It's quite common. Being chased or chasing someone or something. A dream where you are being chased often symbolizes a part of yourself you are avoiding or running away from. Perhaps it's a fear, a negative belief, or an emotion you repressed. Falling. This is a classic shadow symbol dream. often connects to a fear of failure, lack of control, or insecurity. Death or dying. While this sounds a bit frightening, it can actually represent transformation or the needs to let go of something that no longer serves you. Doesn't mean you're actually dying. Such old patterns of belief. Mirror or reflection. Seeing yourself in a mirror reflection often represents self-awareness or perhaps the part of yourself you've been avoiding. It's an invitation to look deeper. So there is a few steps to start a dream journal. Keep a journal by your bed. As soon as you wake up, write them down. I put alarm on every 7 hours, 5 hours, depends what time I go to sleep. We have 7-hour cycles to go into REM, deep dream stage. We go after 5 hours into REM, definitely into REM. It's good to put an alarm in 5 hours if you want to wake yourself up in the middle of a dream. However, I don't advise this. This is my personal exercise. I don't think it's necessary for you. I don't want you to lose sleep. Also, I'm not a medical professional. I wouldn't advise to do this as opposed as any medical treatment. Okay. So I would just have a dream journal next to my bed. If you want to start soft, and whatever comes to mind when the dream wakes you up, write it down. Write it down, because you will forget in the morning. So it's very easy to forget dream. Like for my minutes, you have forgotten. So write it down immediately. If you remember it, write it down after, but try to write it down immediately. So also the funny thing is that the more you write, the more dreams you write, and then you will find some patterns in them, which then again will indicate where your shadow is. So that's very helpful to do that. Also, when you have a vivid or very unsettling dream, ask yourself, what part of myself is the dream showing me? So what am I avoiding? What emotion does this dream bring up for me? Write down your thoughts and feelings about it. Sometimes the shadow appears in dream disguised as a fear or insecurity. So just be very mindful of that. Look for representation as well. If you notice like recurring themes and these patterns of dreams, like people, symbols, pay special attention to what the symbol or situation are trying to tell you. For example, if you repeatedly dream of being late for something, it might represent feeling of unpreparedness or fear of missing out on opportunity in your working life. So again, you can even look at symbolism of things, like research it, because obviously then that will help. So now that you found this, integrate the shadow. So once you have found like a shadow, embrace it with compassion, okay? Instead of running from it, try to understand it. What is that teaching you about your emotional state, fears, or past experiences? Most of the time we're just kids, compassion for the little kid, The goal is not to judge or resist, but to integrate these parts of yourself into your consciousness so they no longer control you from the shadows. Okay? So now, as promised, we're going to do an exercise, a shadow work exercise of reflection. So make sure you're in a safe space or find a quiet space and safe space. You might want to light a candle or play some music. Have a journal or pen ready. You might want a mirror. The mirror is very good for this exercise. Okay. Take a big breath and relax. And before you dive in, set an intention for this exercise. You might say something like, I am open to exploring all parts of myself, even those I ever hid. even those shadows I've hidden from myself. I invite healing and acceptance into my life. Breathe, pushing your belly out, and breathe out, pushing your belly in, and also just be open to accept anything that comes up, okay, in this moment of quiet space. While you're still breathing, trying to find your center, feel that emptiness in your stomach. The second part of the exercise is to find out things that are beyond uncomfortable. So like a shadow, remember, like a shadow of a self might show up like a fear or a negative emotion or a soul trauma or something you're tending to suppress. So I'm going to ask you some questions. Ask yourself the same question and see what comes up. What traits or emotion in others triggers me the most? See what comes up and write it down. Take your time, pause the video if you need to. Second question, are there parts of myself I don't like or I'm ashamed of? Take your time, pause the video, write them down. Third question, what patterns do I notice in my life that cause me pain or conflict? Fourth question, what part of my personality do I reject or feel uncomfortable exploring? And fifth question, are these behavior, beliefs, or desires I try to hide from others? Okay, this question should reveal at least some of your shadows. Now we can use the mirror. This is very powerful if you have one. As you look at yourself, say the following affirmation, or create your own, even better. I see you, I accept you, I embrace all the parts of you. Okay, really embrace it. I no longer hide from the parts of myself that scare me. Repeat, I no longer hide from the parts of myself that scares me. You are worthy of love, even the parts that are difficult to accept. Okay, you are worthy of love, even the parts that are difficult to accept. Look at the emotion that arise here in this process: discomfort, shame, anger, or even relief. So now dialogue with your shadow, okay? Take some time to write in your journal as you're having conversation with your shadow. As again, treat them as they're a different person. Ask your shadow the following question and write the response. What do you want me to know about you? Why have you been hidden for so long? What do you need for me to feel heard and accepted? How can I begin to embrace and integrate you into my life? Don't worry about how perfect the answers are. There's no answers at all. The goal is to allow your unconscious mind to communicate with you other parts of yourself freely, you know? Remember, these parts of yourself have been completely discommunicated. So you have detached from these parts. You are trying to get them closer again and trying to integrate it, become a whole again. Okay? Okay, so now let's close the exercise by saying to the mirror or without mirror, doesn't matter. I honor and embrace all parts of myself, both light and shadow. I am worthy of love, healing, and growth. I am on the path for holiness. Okay, consider repeating this exercise regularly, a couple of times a week, and just see what else comes up and start talking to yourself, to your shadow, to integrate them, get them to feel less fearful and become one with you again. Okay, so I hope this exercise helped. Be patient with yourself. Use visualization and meditations really help me. I use every night. and work with your emotions that come up, you know, and be patient with them as well. I just want to say thank you so much for sharing this time with me. I hope this has helped someone. And, just keep growing, keep learning on yourself, keep doing the work. You're on the right track. Thank you so much. I love you, Lutz. And until next time, have a beautiful day. Bye now.